Join our friend Jen Whitcomb swim to help Tunnel to Towers to help support first responders and our veterans. Right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today as we prepare for the Swim to Help Tunnel to Towers project. We have a very special guest today to talk about all of the wonderful things happening at Tunnel to Towers Foundation. As we are here today with Mr. Jack Ohm. Hello, Mr. Jack. Tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your connection to Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Sure. Thanks, Yoshi. So my name is Jack Ohm. I'm a retired battalion chief from the New York City Fire Department, where I worked for 32 years. I had to retire in 2012 from a line of duty injury, and I missed the fire department. Greatest job in the world. Lost 20 of my men on 9/11. 3 out of my 9 units never came back home. Even having said that, even going through those terrible months on the pile and into the pit looking for survivors and then later recovering bodies, it was still the greatest job in the world. So it's just a fantastic brotherhood and my second family. But the Silla Foundation, Stephen Silla Tunnel to Towers Foundation, is a second love, I guess you would call it. I've been involved with the foundation almost from the start. I was a runner years ago before my knee let out. And so they always had a run to retrace Stephen's footsteps from the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel on the Brooklyn side of the Battery Tunnel, right through the Battery Tunnel, up West Street, right into the World Trade Center that Stephen did when he was an off-duty firefighter. And he sacrificed his life to save others that morning, like 342 other New York City firemen did. So the foundation was started by Stephen's 3 brothers and his 3 sisters to honor the 2,977 Americans that were murdered that day. And we've been doing good things to remember and honor those Americans for the last almost 20 years now. So they had this great big run. It started out off with about 2,000 runners our first year. 2019, about 30,000 runners retraced Stephen's footsteps right through that Battery Tunnel and up to West Street. And we really celebrated those lives that were lost that day. So I started out running at first in a run, getting guys from my firehouse and my battalion to hold flags and to hold banners of the 343 New York City firemen that we lost, the 23 New York City police officers that were killed, and the 37 Port Authority police officers that were killed that day. And we would line up outside the Battery Tunnel and we would run by and see the names and faces of all those brave first responders that we lost that morning. So that was my tie-in. So always a volunteer with the foundation. When I retired in September of 2012, Hurricane Sandy hit our shores in October of 2012. The Silla Foundation raised $12 million for Hurricane Sandy relief, and Frank Silla, our chairman, put me in charge of spending that $12 million to help people get back home, mold remediation, gutting out the homes, and then finally rebuilding these homes all throughout Staten Island, New Jersey, and Long Island. And then after that, it was just my love to be here and work. I'm also serve on the board of directors of the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. I travel all across the country to represent the foundation. So that's kind of went on a little bit, Yoshi, but that's all about what I do and what I do for the foundation.
Well, great. Thank you so much. And first of all, thank you for your service and just the wonderful work that you and your team has put forth, over the years. I know you're retired now, but gosh, all of us, sometimes we take things for granted, and just the first responders, the sacrifices, and the amount of manpower effort that they put into kind of keeping us safe. We just can't thank you enough. So we certainly appreciate your service to our country very much. So can you tell us a little bit about the Towers to Towers the mission. What do you all do for the community? I know you do the run to raise money to support the community, but what else do you all do as the mission, and any special programming on that you all do throughout the year?
Sure, Yoshi, we do so many things. It's just amazing with this foundation, and it keeps evolving, it keeps expanding. But our mission is simply to honor and remember the first responders, and really all those Americans, the 2,977 Americans that we lost on that day. So that's our main focus, is to always honor and remember what happened to us as a country, because I think we know now that, history is not there for us to like it or dislike it. It's there for us to learn from it. So hopefully we don't make the same mistakes that we made in the past. So we have to always remember what happened to us. And our mission is to just do that. Remember and honor what happened to us. We have three main programs that help the military and help our first responders and our Gold Star family. So we started out always helping people, children, mostly. Stephen, when he died, left 5 small kids, a beautiful wife, Sally. So our focus was on families and helping kids. We helped orphanages here at home in America and elsewhere throughout the world, actually. But in 2008, Brenda Morocco was the first surviving quadruple amputee, came home from the war in Iraq with no arms and no legs. And he's a Staten Islander, which is our hometown of Staten Island. And Frank Silla galvanized the Staten Island community. We raised $800,000, and we built Brenda in Morocco, our first smart home. Now, these smart homes have a lot of technology in them, where these guys can live an independent life. They can get a drink of water. They can go to the bathroom. They can take a shower without asking for help. You have to remember, our servicemen and women are strong, independent people. And when they lose their arms and their legs fighting for our freedom, we have to take care of them. So these smart homes allow them to do all those things I just mentioned without the help of somebody else. So you can imagine going to the bathroom and having to ask your husband or your wife to help you. So, there's really no dignity in that. So these smart homes give them their independence so they can live a more independent and useful life. Little did we know at the time we built Brenda's house, there was 3 other quadruple amputees. So we went out and we built them houses. And then we worked down with the triple amputees, down to the double amputees. And we continue to this day building smart homes all over this great country. 100 of them have been built so far. And Frank has pledged that we do 200 of these smart homes for our catastrophically injured service personnel coming home with no arms and no legs. For us at the foundation, this is the least we can do for these men and women that have sacrificed so much for our freedom and safety. That's really our number one program. As that program winds down, hopefully the wars are coming to a conclusion. And obviously we all know, unfortunately, there's probably always going to be wars. But for now, those injuries are winding down. And I think we're going to pivot into helping homeless veterans down the road. But that's after this program winds down completely. Our second major program is our Gold Star Family Program, where we actually go in and pay off a mortgage of the Gold Star family. So for those viewers that don't know what a Gold Star family is, that means your husband, your wife was killed fighting again for our freedom, for this country's freedom. So we feel easing the financial burden of the family that's left behind is a good way to keep that family intact in their home that their loved one bought and purchased for them to stay in forever. So these Gold Star families, we come in, we take over the mortgage for them, and eventually we pay off the mortgage for those families. So that's a great thing that, another great thing that this foundation does. And the last thing that's near and dear, the last program that's near and dear to my heart is our fallen first responder program, where we pay off the mortgages of police officers, firefighters, and EMS personnel that die in the line of duty, protecting their community so all of us can be safe at home. So again, you have a young family, you have a mortgage, you lost your husband or your wife that was the major breadwinner. Our foundation, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, will come in, assume your mortgage, we raise enough money, and then we pay off the mortgage for the family. Again, keeping the family unit intact in the same house that their loved ones bought for their family members. I had the pleasure, probably last month, of being with Frank Silla at the World Trade Center, where we kicked off really our fourth major program, where now we're paying off mortgages for post 9/11 illnesses that first responders are dying from. So to date, over 600 first responders have died from 9/11 related illnesses or injuries. So that's even more. 403 first responders died on 9/11. 600 have died since 9/11, mostly from 9/11 related cancers. So the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has promised to pay off, again, young families with kids and pay off their mortgages. So again, these families can stay in their houses, stay in their homes that their husbands or wives have provided for them all these years. So those really are our four major programs. We do so many other things. We have the legacy awards for injured police officers, injured firefighters. In fact, now we have a program where firemen or police officers that are catastrophically injured, they lose the use of their arms or legs from being paralyzed from an on-the-job injury. We will come in and fix their homes and put smart technology into their homes so that they can live independent life with their new injuries. So that's mostly our big four main programs, and it keeps us busy. Unfortunately, as we know, the attack on police officers in the last 2 or 3 years has been steadily increasing, and the need, especially in the law enforcement side, is almost every day we're having a cop shot, and thank God not everyone dies, but it's just amazing how unfortunately how busy those programs are. The Fallen First Responder program is in this foundation, and hopefully that changes with hopefully in time or leadership changes and things get better for our law enforcement officers.
Well, thank you so much, and we certainly commend all of the just wonderful work and support that you've offered and provided the community, and not just the community, but just individuals and families who's been affected by the terrible tragedies of 9/11 20 years ago, and then the wars and people being deployed afterwards as well. So we just can't thank you enough. So you've has such a huge impact on the community and individuals and families over these 20 years. But kind of moving forward, what are some of your organization's future goals and aspirations?
Right. So, I failed to mention, and Jim, you're going to like this number, 93% of the money that people donate to our foundation goes to our programs. So very little gets eaten up in fundraising costs. Very little gets eaten up with having a staff. Obviously, we have to have a staff. We have to pay rent. We have some fixed bills, fixed expenses, but very little goes that way. 93 cents of your dollar gets donated to our program. So that's a wonderful and one of the highest rated charities that you can have with 93%. Going forward, this year, the foundation has pledged to pay off 120 homes, mortgage-free homes, to give away 120 mortgage-free homes. And depending on the income coming in, we're going to keep doing 120 a year. I know Frank always wants to up that, but that is limited by the amount of money we can raise. We have good people like Jim, doing these swims, and we have golf outings, we have runs all over the country. People raising money for us all over this great country, because like Jim, they like what we do and what we stand for, and how much of our money goes to our programs. So I inferred this before. I think when the Smart Home program is winding down, we're going to pivot onto helping homeless veterans, and that is such a massive undertaking. It's not just building a home and putting a homeless veteran in and walking away from him, because they need social, they need medical, they need so many other services. And I think we're going to partner with local and state not-for-profits and maybe government agencies to ensure that these men and women that volunteered to go into harm's way, so all of us can be free and safe in this country, that these people get what they deserve, a home to call their own. And that's so important, and I think that's the direction our foundation is heading in the future. But like I said, we still do have to take care of these catastrophically injured service personnel coming home, and that's going to be our mission. And when that winds down, I think the homeless veterans is going to be our next big program.
Well, certainly with what's happened this past year and a half, what you're doing and then what you'll continue to do in the future, I think is more important than ever with first responders and our veterans and people and families part of the military, and those people who sacrifice to keep our lives free and protect their freedoms. They need as much support as ever right now. So we certainly thank you for kind of keeping that going. But as you mentioned, our good friend Jim Whitcomb learned about your foundation and has such a wonderful and also kind of engaging and fun an idea and put together a project where he will be swimming 10 miles straight, nonstop, on the anniversary of 9/11 this coming September, and he will be raising some funds and donations. The goal is $25,000, but we will be trying to strive for more than that. But tell us about kind of your thoughts about Jim's idea and kind of his efforts to kind of support your foundation. And I know there's countless people like Jim who's putting together similar ideas, but we're so proud of our friend Jim here in Georgia to be kind of doing this and then sacrificing his body for, I guess, swimming 10 miles straight, right? So tell us about kind of your thoughts when you heard about this project.
Well, it's an amazing feat for anybody to swim 10 miles. I was joking before, I don't even like to drive 10 miles. I can't imagine being in water for 8 to 10 hours, which is amazing to us. But you know what? This is what America is all about. Good people doing good things for other good people. I mean, when I go around the country and I speak on behalf of the foundation, I always say the goodness of America. And Jim's a perfect example of the good people we have, the great people we have in this country. He could have sat back on his couch and said, oh, that's a great foundation, but who cares? He's taken action. That's what good people do, right? Good people take a stand and say, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to do something positive. Because when you turn on the news, all you hear is negative. And I saw firsthand, that day and the 9 months that I spent at the World Trade Center site, I saw the goodness of America day in and day out. People from all over the country coming to help us in our time of need. And it made me feel great. I mean, everybody says we want America back as it was on 9/12. Obviously, we never want to go through 9/11, but how great was America on 9/12? We all loved each other. We all, helped each other. And so I think we lose sight of all the good people that we have here in this country and all the charitable efforts. And I said it before, we're a great charity, in my opinion. But there's a lot of good charities out there. Pick a good charity and give. Because I always tell my 4 kids, when you give, you get. There's no secret to life. You don't need more money. You don't need more things. You need to give. And Jim's a giver. And he's giving of his body. And he's going to raise 25. I bet you he raises $50,000 for us. Because people are going to get behind him, realize what he's sacrificing, of his body, a mind. So they can give $100. They can give $10. And it's just, again, just the goodness of America. And we want to say thank you, Jim.
Well, yes, we'll be cheering Jim on as he swims 10 miles straight to raise funds and donations for Tunnel to Towers Foundation. But for all of our viewers tuning in, certainly encourage you all to support Jim's efforts as well, and make a contribution, make a donation. Every little bit counts too. So help us kind of reach that goal of 25,000, and then also, as Mr. Ohm said, let's reach 50,000 or more, right? So.
Yes.
But Jack, can you tell us how do we get in touch with Tunnel to Towers? Where can we learn more information about it? And how can people make a contribution?
Sure. Well, I think Jim, you have a GoFundMe page. So if you want to just go directly to our website, tunnel2towers.org, T2T.org is good too. Anything you put in Tunnel to Towers. .org or T2T.org. You're going to come to our website. It's going to list everything we do, all our programs, all our fundraising, and what you want to do is hit the donate button, and you can become an $11 a month sponsor. $11 a month. If you see our commercials on Fox or Channel 2 News, $11 a month by a lot of people makes us a lot of money, so that we can continue to do good things for the people that protect our lives and our safety. Simple as that.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much. And to take us out, maybe one message of hope, maybe words of wisdom that you have for our viewers.
Sure. Keep giving, because that's the secret to life. It's going to make you happier than getting. So my daughter always corrects me. I always say, when you give, you get. What my daughter says, she says, Dad, say it this way. When one gives, 2 receive. Think about that. When one gives, 2 receive. Secret to life.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone tuning in. Again, help us reach our goal. Make a contribution to Jim Whitcomb's Swim to Help Tunnel to Towers project. And also visit Tunnel2Towers, T2T.org. Make a contribution, support them directly as well. But certainly, Mr. Jack, thank you so much for your service, for all that you have done over the years and continue to do, even after your retirement, to kind of help all of the first responders and our military personnel and veterans to kind of stay within one, right? Keep our families intact and support everyone who's in need, who's sacrificed so much for our freedoms.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much, Jack. Thank you.